Welcome to Northern Michigan Update. I am State Senator Jason Allen, and it's a privilege to have you here today. With us we have Josh and Nick from the Boy Scouts of America. Giving us a little bit of an overview of what's going on at Camp Greilick that occurred over the summer, the programs that are involved with the Boy Scouting organization. I've been a scout leader and Eagle Scout, and it's one of the great programs that is good for young men to develop leadership and great skill sets, so we're happy to have this sort of update and overview of what's going on with this program. Gentlemen, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Josh, can you tell me a little bit about what you have done this summer at Camp Greilick and the activities that have been going on?
Yes, well, this summer I was given a new opportunity to become the camp's program director. I'm in charge of overseeing all program that we offer to the scouts that come here. Basically, I just make sure that what they come for is what they get.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure there's a quality program, make sure that if they want to achieve it, they have the opportunity.
Okay. Now, Camp Greilick is kind of a neat place south of Traverse City.
Yep.
It's been in the scouting program since the late 20s, if I remember correctly, and has developed into a preeminent scouting camp.
Yep.
Now, the types of programs that you're involved with, you sort of, what kinds of, you've got probably a couple different groups that you're working on, probably senior scouts and junior scouts.
Yep.
What are the types of things that go on?
We have an excellent Cub Scout program. We do a Cub Scout day camp where they come out and participate in activities such as swimming, learning how to tie knots, craft, those sorts of things for a day.
Right.
And then we do a Weeblos Adventure Camp. Weeblos is that transition period between Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts where they learn how to camp as a Boy Scout. They get a really close schedule to what we do at Boy Scout camp, and it just gets them ready. And then we do our Boy Scout camp, which is a week-long. They work on merit badges, advancements. They can do other stuff such as mountain biking, climbing. They can participate in our fine arts area where they can learn theater and those sorts of things. Not really traditional camping merit badges, but it's very unique to our camp that you just don't see a lot of it anywhere else.
So talk to me a little bit about the Cub Scouting program and what's that about?
Cub Scout program is designed for all boys in 1st through 5th grade. In 1st grade, it's their first opportunity to join up as a Tiger Cub Scout. And then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are their Cub Scouting years. In 5th grade, which Josh just mentioned, Weeblos Scouts and how that's a transition year. About halfway through their 5th grade year, they get the opportunity to look into a bunch of different Boy Scout troops and find out who they're going to transfer over into and which Boy Scout troop they're going to join. So at 5th grade, about 11 years old, is when boys will typically join the Boy Scouting program. And then in Boy Scouts, they are considered a youth, able to work on advancement and everything up until the age of 18. At 18, they're an adult. So basically from that 11 years old until they're 18 years old, they're a youth in the Boy Scouts of America. And then there's 2 other programs that the Boy Scouts of America have that are newer programs over the last decade or so called Exploring and Venturing. Venturing is kind of an extension of this Boy Scouting traditional program, and it's geared for co-ed 14 to 20 years old, more high adventure based, more hobby based. And then the Explorer program is a program that's designed around careers. And Explorer posts can again be participants from 14 to 20 years old, co-ed, and can have any different topic. I know that we have many firefighting Explorer posts in the area, law enforcement, we've had aviation, we've also had some emergency rescue posts in the past. So lots of different age ranges and program differences based on those age ranges in the Boy Scouts.
Good. Well, let's start out. What does the Cub Scouting program do?
The Cub Scout program is designed to get those boys into the scouting program, have them have tons of adult association, more adult leadership in the Cub Scout program. It's run in packs and dens, and they have den leaders, and it's very age appropriate, and the advancement happens in an ages and stages kind of way. In 1st grade, they're Tigers. 2nd grade, they become Wolf Scouts. 3rd grade, Bears. 4th grade, they start their Weeblos year, and they do that Weeblos for a year and a half until they get into Boy Scouts. So it's a very adult-driven, a very adult-led program.
Okay.
When they get into Boy Scouts, the gears switch.
Okay.
And just like you had said, they're looking for the boys to take on more leadership roles. And the adults become more advisors instead of the leaders.
Okay.
The Boy Scouts take on the leadership roles. And instead of it being driven based on ages and stages, it's more at an individual pace, the Boy Scouting program is. The Eagle Award, which is the highest rank in scouting, is attained by about 4% of all the boys that join the scouting program. So it's not just because you're in it for the potential 7-8 years that you can be, do you automatically become an Eagle. It really takes the desire in that to achieve the Eagle Award. The whole purpose that the Boy Scouts of America have, the whole aim of the Boy Scouts is to really be creating better citizens, with better character, and have physical and mental fitness
Very good.
throughout their lives.
Good.
So,
And so Josh, you at Camp Greilick in the summertime try and customize the program, is that how that works? So you have a
Yeah.
specific program for Cubs, and how does that work?
We have a specific program for Cubs and for Boy Scouts. The motto of the Cub Scouts is "Do your best," which means that they just try their hardest and they can achieve what they want to do, any of their rank advancements like the Bear, Tiger badges. And Boy Scouts, it is be prepared and do no less or no more than what the requirements say. So they have to be very specific. They have to meet this requirement. They can't do any more than it, and they can't do any less. So that's what they have to do for that requirement.
Okay.
But yeah, in the Cub Scouts, we do it very age specific. Like we're not going to have a first grader shooting shotguns.
Okay.
They can do BB guns, for instance, or archery. But once you get into the Boy Scouts, you have a much broader range of activities that we can do with those scouts, and it's a challenge by choice.
Very good. So what's kind of on the agenda? I was reading in some of the things that we're coming up on some big significant anniversary dates, and give us a little bit of overview of what's going on with that.
it is pretty interesting. We're reaching the 100th anniversary of Boy Scouting here in the United States of America. And this year, 2007, during the summer months, they held the World Jamboree for the 100th anniversary of Scouting at Brownsea Island, which was the first Boy Scout camp that Sir Baden-Powell, who was the founder of the scouting movement in the world, that was their first scout camp. So this summer, they had a World Jamboree, and I'm still waiting to find out how that all went from the 5 participants that went from our council to the World Jamboree.
So our council, just so that I understand, is part of the National Boy Scouts, and then the National Boy Scouts is part of the World Boy Scouts. Is that how that works?
Correct.
And so this originally, scouting got started in England,
We did.
and this was based on some training that Lord Baden-Powell did during his time against the Boers during the pre-sort of colonial period of the English society. And so it taught young men how to be able to be self-sufficient.
Correct.
And what's the importance of Brownsea Island?
Well, as I said, Brownsea Island was the original scout camp. That was the place that Sir Baden-Powell gathered up a patrol of scouts, about 12 I believe it was, and took them to Brownsea Island for a weekend or a week-long camp where he started to instill all these scouting values and scouting skills into these boys. He came back from being in those wars and saw a real need to be teaching young men leadership skills and some just different survival skills, everyday life skills. And so scouting was the program that he developed. I believe it was about 3 years after he started scouting in England that a gentleman by the name of William D. Boyce, an American, was visiting and ran into a scout, and that scout assisted him in a time of need. And